I retired at 40 with enough money to never work again. 6 months later, I was having a full blown identity crisis in a coffee shop at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Here's what nobody tells you about early retirement and why the hardest part isn't getting there, it's what comes after. Truth number one, the identity crisis. The first shock, I had no idea who I was without my job title. For nearly 2 decades, I introduced myself as insert title at a tech startup company, at networking events, dinner parties, even chatting with strangers. My identity was my career. When people asked, "What do you do?" I suddenly had no answer that felt legitimate. I spent weeks avoiding social situations, embarrassed to say I'm retired at 40 when people assume you're either between jobs or lying. That's when it hit me. I'd built my entire self-worth on work achievements and external validation. Reinventing yourself in your 40s is brutal. No performance reviews, no promotions to chase, no OKRs. You have to rediscover who you are when no one's handing out gold stars. One of the most helpful tools I used was an energy journal paired with a values exercise. Tracking what energized or drained me helped me design a life that felt both meaningful and energizing. Or it at least helped me understand where I'm going. Truth number two, the boredom paradox. Suddenly, an empty calendar wasn't a failure. It was permission. Permission to try things without pressure. So I tried everything. I started playing tennis again. I took language classes, painting classes where my trees looked like muddy blobs. I even dabbled in options trading and started to collect Pokemon and One Piece cards because apparently that's now an investment. I dusted off my old PlayStation and spent weeks hunting down retro games on eBay. And here's the thing, I felt guilty about all of it. Every hobby I didn't master felt like another line item on my failure resume. Why couldn't I stick with anything? Why wasn't I good at this? Then it hit me. Hobbies aren't supposed to be performance reviews. They're not another metric to optimize. They're permission to be curious, to discover what sparks joy without needing to monetize it or write a LinkedIn post about it. Some hobbies stuck. Most didn't. And that's completely fine. For the first time in decades, I wasn't trying to excel at everything. I was just exploring, tinkering. And somehow that felt like the biggest achievement of all. Truth number three, energy over time. Everyone chases time freedom, but energy is the real currency. I planned out my dream week, workouts, consulting projects, hangouts. By Wednesday, I was wiped. Sure, I had the time, but I find myself on the couch doom scrolling social media for hours. I just didn't have the energy. Free time doesn't scale your output, especially as you get older. Energy, mental, emotional, physical, is finite. If you don't budget it well, you burn out just as fast in retirement as you did in your career. Early retirement isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually matters with the energy you've got. I have slow, alarm-free mornings where I walk to my local coffee shop with my boyfriend or solo, enjoy a quiet coffee or matcha, and write in my garbage journal where I just dump whatever's on my mind as a calming ritual to clear my head. I also clean and organize my personal spaces, especially my desk and my creative areas. As someone who's neurodivergent, clutter is one of my biggest distractions. So keeping those spaces tidy preserves my mental clarity and protects my energy throughout the day. Truth number four, your health won't fix itself. Early retirement doesn't automatically make you healthy. A few months ago, I sat in a sterile white room at a Korean clinic, staring at my full body evaluation results. My hands were shaking, cholesterol through the roof, blood pressure climbing, pre-diabetic markers lighting up like a dashboard. My doctor circled the cardiovascular risk numbers and looked at me with genuine concern. The gut punch, every marker was worse than my last physical. Back when I was working 80-hour weeks, living on stress and coffee, I'd fantasized about this freedom my entire career. Now my body was falling apart faster than when I was grinding myself into dust. The crushing irony, all this time freedom, and I'd filled it with everything except taking care of myself. Late nights working on passion projects, eating whenever, sitting for 12-hour stretches because no meetings interrupted me. I hit the reset button hard, dropped commitments, made health the absolute non-negotiable. And now I'm happy to say I am back to healthy numbers. Early retirement gives you time, but time alone doesn't heal you. You have to actively invest it in your body. Because financial freedom means nothing if you're too sick to use it. Truth number 5. Social isolation is real. It's shockingly easy to feel alone when everyone else is still grinding. Most of my friends are still working, raising kids, or both. My boyfriend got laid off and moved back to his home country to start his game studio. So I started slow traveling to spend more time with him and shake things up. But not having a permanent address as a 40-something retiree puts you in a weird limbo. You're not part of the retiree brunch crowd, but you're also not on the hamster wheel anymore. Making new friends? Harder than dating. Keeping old ones? Requires serious intention and commitment. If you don't actively rebuild and invest in your social life, you'll find yourself alone at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, wondering who's even available to talk. To stay connected, I take local art classes to create alongside other aspiring artists. Being in a creative space with others, even if we don't speak the same language, gives me a sense of community and shared energy. I also schedule video call dates with close friends and travel to see them when I can. These intentional social rituals help fight the isolation and keep me emotionally connected. Truth number 6. Money becomes boring, then interesting again. After a lifetime of chasing it, money became background noise. I hit enough, and money stopped being a goal. It became a system running quietly in the background. Weekly check-ins, monthly reviews, done. I thought that was the dream, not thinking about money anymore. But here's the twist. Money became interesting again, just in a completely different way. Early retirement gave me time to actually learn investment management. I developed a new skill, options trading. Suddenly, money became a hobby that generates income while preserving my principal and funding my travels. It's like having a part-time job I actually enjoy, one that gives me room to experiment without sweating the small stuff, and at a fraction of the time of working a 9-to-5 job. My spending rules stayed simple. For any purchase under $100, I just ask myself, does this bring me joy? If it's not 100% yes, I don't buy it. I canceled Amazon Prime and deleted all my shopping apps to stop doom scrolling. And also just not have the temptation to accumulate more things, which makes no sense when you're slow traveling like I am. Money matters now, but differently. One runs automatically while the other keeps me sharp. That balance? That's actually the dream. Truth number 7. FOMO fades when you get clear on what really matters. I walked away from millions in unvested stock options and crypto tokens, convinced I'd obsess over what I left behind. But in the last 2 years, I thought about it maybe 3 times, if that. I'm actually glad I left when I did, because now I get to say yes to weekday tennis, coffee meetups, and girl trips. The ability to design my day on my terms is worth way more than any upside I left behind. Truth number 8. freedom is terrifying. Total calendar control is both the best and the worst thing ever. In my old tech roles, I was technically flexible, but the reality, back-to-back meetings, always on call. Now, no one owns my time, and that was jarring. For months, I felt anxious, directionless, like I was floating. But then, I started to embrace it. I said yes to what I wanted: tennis, long lunches, creative projects, learning Spanish. Freedom is terrifying because it puts the responsibility back on you. There's no playbook, there are no rules, no manager to tell you what to do. But it's also the most powerful gift. I used to rely on so many apps like Notion when I needed detailed systems. Now I just use Google Calendar with themed days. Enough structure to stay focused without rigid routines. Less apps, less overwhelm, more freedom. These are the 8 truths I wish someone had told me before I became financially independent and retired early. This video isn't meant to discourage you. It's here to prepare you. Because early retirement isn't the end of the story. It's a beginning of a whole new chapter, and a chapter that I'm still kind of figuring out as I go. If you're already on this journey, you're not alone. Subscribe for more from the other side of FIRE, not just how to get there, but how to live well once you do. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.